All right, I'm hoping the exposure is good here. So I am getting ready to remove this plug and this plug, which are just above the rock rail. So this is an installation for a front flap on a 4-door rock rail Sasquatch Bronco. So I'm going to remove these two plugs. All right, now that I've pulled the plugs, I'm underneath the Bronco. So this is the rock rail. This is the fabric that hangs down. We're going to use this hole right here for one of the U-nuts. In the directions it says to drill a hole in this fabric, but I've since learned that there's an easier way. I'm actually just going to move the fabric to the back side, and then I'm going to apply the 3 U-nuts as the next step in the video. Okay, so now I've installed the U-nuts, and what I'm going to do next, if you can see this, you'll see 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take this Allen wrench and go through the hole and just make sure that they're sort of centered. Each hole is sort of centered with the factory hole. It's hard to do with one hand on the camera, but it'll make it easier later. Now this fabric, this is key. I'm going to move this again like I showed earlier. Now that I've got the U-nuts in, I'm going to move that to the back side so that when it's all bolted up, it will look like this. Okay, so I have now just basically loosely installed the top screw with the 1/2 inch spacer into the flap. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to install, and these are both black, a 3/4 inch at the next hole down, and then the bottom one down there I'm going to have a 1 inch. Those will be black, and I'm going to loosely apply those next into the 3 U-nuts. All right, so now I've got some light in here now. So basically I've put the 3 bolts through the U-nuts, and then I'm going to go underneath it as well to show you how that went on. So this is the 1 inch spacer. The fabric is now on the back side of this piece of sheet metal, and then the screw is going through that spacer into the U-nut. The reason for the spacer, and by the way, it's a 1 inch on the bottom, a 3/4 in the middle, which I think you can see in there, and then a 1/2 inch at the top, is that it basically spaces it for the 4-door rock rail that protrudes into the wheel well, more than a 2-door actually, and so it gives space for the flap to fit without having to cut a hole in the flap. Okay, so here's the flap temporarily installed. I'm going to do a couple other things, but I'm just now in the process of tightening all these down on the back side into the spacers, and then into the sheet metal, and through the U-nuts. So this is where it sort of meets the rock rail. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put you can kind of see how the rock rail does change the trajectory of the flap, so to speak. I'm going to put on the end of the rock rail is plastic. It's not metal on the very tip. So I'm actually going to put a sheet metal screw through, and it's going to tighten it up better, and I'll kind of show you how that works. So if I put a sheet metal screw through, it's going to pull it out that way a little bit. And this is kind of an optional step, so it's personal preference thing. But yeah, the flap is in. Now you'll see 3 holes at the bottom. Those are for the extender flap, which you may or may not be installing. Okay, the flap is now fully installed, and I've added 2 sheet metal screws, and this is a change to the original instructions. This is the top one. There's a hole in the flap already for that. This one here actually is something I just recently added, just with the 4-door rock rail Sasquatch. And the reason I've added that is it seems to straighten out the way the flap goes around the rock rail, and so it makes for a better fit. So I won't add holes into the flap. I will start adding an extra sheet metal screw, and then that'll be something that's optional if the person wants to install that. So this is it. Again, mine has the 3 extra holes, but that's because I'm putting extender flaps on it. Now I'm going to go to the back really quick. The backs have also been installed, and that has the extender flaps already. I'm going to add a video for a non-Sasquatch, which is the same as this, but it has 3 screws instead of 4 because it's a shorter span of the bumper that it attaches to. But this is the rear. And then just a quick video. This is the flaps on my new Bronco. I had a 2-door before this. Includes some fresh bird poop. With the extender flaps on the passenger side. And this is my next project, adapting that brush guard. So, thank you everybody. Okay, it occurred to me, I'm sure someone will ask, because I would, how these look with the wheels straight. So I've straightened the wheels. Rear flap with extender. I'm gonna go the other side too. That's my dog, Tucker. Okay, so this is the passenger side with extenders. Rear.